Well, it's the Laps fan, man, number one in the ring. Forget about Cesaro, we the real king of swing. When the bell goes ding, you get kicked like Ming. Thrown in the corner, make it splash like Sting.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show, and welcome to the WWE Network. I'm coming to you from Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I'm speaking with my guest, the chairman and CEO of WWE, Vince McMahon. Vince, how you doing, you trash up in this bitch?
I'm doing great.
Welcome to the Steve Austin Show.
Thanks.
Welcome to your network.
Thank you.
Speaking of network.
Yeah.
How's it doing? Right off the bat. We ain't got no time to mess around. I mean, you can't get comfortable. Just jump right into the frying pan. How's the network doing?
Well, last time I checked, it's doing great. We got great content. I'm always excited. I turn it on every day. I think the network is fantastic. I enjoy all the old, the old pay-per-views that I created. I like watching the new stuff that we're creating, that kind of bullshit Monday Night War thing that I came up with. I think that's fantastic. That's the beauty of having your own network, is you get to rewrite reality as much as you want. It's fantastic.
What have been some of the headaches and hassles? I know a lot of people over in the UK. They send me a lot of emails. They're looking for the network. What's the play on that, Vince?
I don't give a shit. They'll get it whenever I'm goddamn ready.
So it's not right around the corner is what you're saying.
You're damn fucking right.
A while back, I got a call from you. You said, hey, man, we're going to unveil the network. Going to do it in Las Vegas. Can you be a part of it? Down South Texas, drove my RV. I was a part of it. Was very proud of it. Will this thing ultimately meet your expectations? Because you have high expectations in everything you do.
Now, let me get one thing straight before you keep on asking these bullshit questions. The thing is, right now, everything that I do meets my expectations. You understand that? Can you get that through your head? That everything that I do, whether it's good, whether it's bad, I expected that. I always expect it. So yes, the WWE Network is going along and meeting my expectations exactly the way that I imagined it would be.
Are you giving it? I'm going to ask you, Vince, are you giving it to people exactly what they want? Are you giving them exactly what they want?
What's that? It's actually the first intelligent question you've had. The thing is this, Steve. Do you know what you want? Do you know what you want out of the network? Do you know what you want in your life? Because the thing is, I don't think you or many people know exactly what they want. But I do. I know what they want. And I give them what they want. But it's not what they want. It's what I want.
All right, let's talk about giving them what they want, Vince. I mean, how in tune right now are you with the WWE Universe? You always like to listen to your crowd. Are you giving the crowd what they want? Because I just got finished watching 3 hours of live sports entertainment / pro wrestling where I come from.
Well, first of all, it's I'm going to correct you right there. What I do, what I've always done, it's not where you come from. This is what I produce, entertainment, and what you used to do before I turned you into what you are was, that Southern man-on-man wrestling, that Ted Turner bullshit. But what I made you an entertainer. So, you can ask me anything you want about, do I listen to the crowd, reading the crowd? I don't give a flying, shut the fuck up. I'm not done yet. I don't give a rat's ass what the crowd wants. You understand me? They like what I give them. The same thing like I told you before. They get what I want because I know they want what I want. And this is not, I'm not going to give them that competitive nature wrestling bullshit. They're going to get entertainment because who doesn't like to get entertained?
I got to cut you off, Vince. I mean, I got to ask you right now, how did pro wrestling segue into sports entertainment?
It didn't. Never did. They're two completely different genres of, well, one's a fake sport and one is entertainment. One is planned competitive events and one is going to the movies. Huge difference between those two things. The WWE, we make movies.
Well, that was under the sports entertainment umbrella. I understand what you're saying there, but when I got in the ring, Vince, I wrestled 20 by 20 foot squared circle, 50 by 50 square foot state. I did it in a damn what, 3,537,436 square mile country. All right, I did every damn week. And I went in there and I wrestled. And we put on a show, take people through the highs and lows, and you entertain them through a wrestling match.
I'm very proud that you were able to make these kind of accomplishments. I don't know how the fuck that has anything to do with me. So why don't you ask me a question? Because I got other things to do. I got fucking hoes to fuck. All right, there's a line of them. I hired them, and they're waiting for me. So ask me a fucking question, because I got shit to do.
All right, then fine. 3 hours of live wrestling. 3 hours live sports entertainment. All right.
3 hours of live entertainment.
You got to help me out here, Vince. I mean, I run a podcast, pretty loose, sports entertainment, 3 hours live. How tough is that to do every single week?
It's fine. I don't mind. It's I mean, it's like any television program that you see on any network. It's a vehicle for actors and performers to read lines from writers. And that's exactly what we do. We are no different than Two and a Half Men or ER or The Sopranos, whatever. We're the exact same thing. There's no difference. So it's easy, if that answers your question.
No, I get fired up just watching the show, Vince. I mean, I like being around the environment, and I enjoyed my time. My run as a WWE superstar.
Well, you should, because I made you something. Because like I said, when you came here, you were, what were you, stunned Steve Austin, wherever the hell you were, from WCW. But see, what I did is I made you a bigger person. I made you, in many ways, I made you a bigger person. Not only in your character and your showmanship, but if you remember correctly, I also stuck you with needles and injected anabolic steroids into your veins.
All right, well, when I look at the show, I like to see a little more in-ring wrestling action under the umbrella of sports entertainment. But you got to run a 3-hour show. You've only got so many guys and gals. Am I wrong in wanting more wrestling? That first segment, sometimes I think it takes a little long to set the hook.
Well, you are wrong. I mean, that's obvious. Because what you don't understand is how entertainment works. And obviously you don't understand how the show works. When you and I were working together on a regular basis, we were only doing a 2-hour show. So now we're doing 3 hours. I don't know if you understand that. But when we do 3 hours, it doesn't mean we get to, add more to it. It just means that everything we do has to be longer. We have to kind of bloat it out so we can extend what we have to keep people in that kind of, in a way, a raw brand extension week to week.
I walk in here, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and there's a different vibe in here, Obviously,
Yeah,
my heyday
Oklahoma sucks, yes, I know.
Oh, it's not quite what I was referring to, Vince, but nonetheless, obviously my heyday was back in the Attitude Era, but just different feel in the locker room now. There's really no other options in the WWE out there, really, when you think about it, to make a living. There's other, you got TNA, there's other guys, but I'm talking about the big leagues. This is it. It seems to me guys and gals backstage are walking on eggshells. They're trepidatious. They're a little afraid to really go out on a damn limb because there is no other option. And if they tick somebody off, Vince, here, well, then there goes their career.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because the thing is, I want these guys on the edge of their seats. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a jobber like that guy with the internet show, whatever the hell his name is, Kreider there, Jack Kreider, right? Isn't that his name? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Or if you're a main eventer like John Cena. See, it doesn't matter where you stand. I want you all to be nervous. I want you all to be so careful, especially when I'm in the building, and I am always in the building. If it's not just me, then I got eyes and ears all around. You know, whether it be a Pat Patterson or an IRS, whoever it is, they are always watching. You're damn right you don't want to piss me off. Because if you piss me off, I'm going to fire your ass so fast, you won't even remember that you had a job here. You understand?
Well,
In
Vince,
my company, shut up. You're starting right now. You're starting to do it. Don't piss anybody off.
Well, Vince, I pissed a lot of people off. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you see, the difference is between, what you did, what you were doing, and what these guys are doing, is you found a way to reach for that brass ring. See, the guys that I employ right now, they're lazy bums. They want to play video games. They want to sit on their ass and just collect their paycheck. They don't want to work. And the way that I work to draw. These guys they work for checks. I work to draw. I work to bring people in. Because I am always fixing to get a new brass ring on my hand. Do you feel me?
All right, but Vince, you just basically said this locker room wasn't as ambitious as the one I was in. Why is that?
Because I don't allow them to be. See, what you did. Steve, what you did is you and your good buddy there, Dwayne, you guys got a little too big for your britches, if you don't mind me saying so. And actually, I don't give a shit if you do mind or not. I'm just going to fucking tell you the way it is. You got too big for your britches. You guys became a little too popular. So now I don't allow people to go for that brass ring unless I allow it. At the same time, if you don't try to go for that brass ring, you're as good as dead to me.
Well, Vince, I don't know what the hell that means. Sounds like a catch-22 to me. But I want to sit here right now, in front of you and in front of the world and the WWE Network, and issue a challenge. All right, to the WWE superstars. I talked to a lot of the guys, John Cena, some of the guys I've known for years, and some of the guys who I just met. And I'm going to issue them a challenge to go out on a limb. Because I'm sitting here looking at you right in the eyes, and you're saying, I think you need more superstars. You need more depth on this roster, correct?
I think I don't need you telling me what to do. Number one, if you're so smart there, Steve, then you can come back here and you can do my job. But I guarantee you this, you do not have what it takes to kill somebody if you have to. I have and I will murder employees if I need to. I've done it in the past, and I'll do it in the future if they don't do what I want. Do you understand me? I don't think you, Mr. Rattlesnake, Mr. Bionic Redneck, have what it takes to do what I do.
Well, that aside, Vince, John Cena, every top guy here, they want another dance partner. But you got to get up that damn ladder to get that dance partner. You got to go out on a limb to get over, correct?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that question, really. I mean, I think if you got a Ric Flair in here, he doesn't need another dance partner. He could have a 5-star match by himself. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to how things get done. But I will say this. If you don't get over, well, there'll be trouble.
All right, you got to take a chance, though, Vince, is what I'm trying to say, okay? Here's this. I get asked all the damn time on my show, Steve, tell me how you get to the top in pro wrestling. How did I get into it? How did I get into sports entertainment? How did I get into the damn business in general? As a promoter, Vince, what are you looking for in a potential WWE superstar?
You see, what I'm looking for in a potential WCW, excuse me, a potential WWE entertainer is I always look for something or someone that I want to emulate, that I want to be. You know, you had something interesting about you. You had a badass mentality, a little, throw back a couple of beers and go kick somebody's ass for fun type mentality. I like that about you. I got a kick out of it. I said, you know what? I want to be that. I'm going to get him over. The Rock. Here's a guy who's, talking smack, saying what's on his mind, making funny jokes as he comes up. And I said, I want to do that. I like that about him. You got a Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan shooting up in his arms, injecting steroids into his arms and beefing up Bill, till he's a huge muscle man. I said, I want to be that. I can do that. I can dig that. So I'm going to get him over. Then you get a low-down little shit like Bret Hart, who has pride and, loves his family and, wants to work hard and not take an easy way out. He wants to earn everything. You know what? I let him have his moment because I won't lie. There were times when I was a little desperate. But in the end, I screwed him because I think his values are bullshit. And then you got guys like right now that what's his name? The vegan kid. Fucking Brian, that guy. I don't like vegans. I don't trust people that don't eat meat. So why the fuck would I ever want to be somebody that I don't trust? So he'll never really get over. I'll give him his moments because, sometimes I got to do what the fans want to improve my bottom line. But he'll never be a mainstay top star. Not in your damn life.
All right, well, I want to take it back. All right, Vince. A long time ago,
Yeah.
you and I were watching the match. We were watching the match at Madison Square Garden, as a matter of fact. The entrance at Madison Square Garden was very short. It's a blue curtain, just a cheap-ass blue curtain, covers the entrance from the backstage area. You and I watching the match. A particular guy went out, got a pretty damn good pop. Got a better pop than they normally did. We looked at each other, said, hey, man, that's a pretty good pop.
Yeah.
You looked at me and you said, yeah, I really hope he gets over. And that
Sure.
was a light bulb went off in my head because I was starting to really gain momentum as Stone Cold started to get hot. And so my point is, as a promoter, you said to me, you don't have a magic wand. You can't just make someone be over. And you could put the jetpack on someone, put the rocket boosters on them, and send them with some forward momentum, but therein lies what they have to bring.
No, that was just a load of bullshit I gave you. I do have a magic wand. When I say someone's going to get over, they're going to get over. They're going to be a huge star. I look at JBL. I made him get over. I made Triple H get over. I made you. Now, I told you had something special to bring. And you did. You had that little thing that I wanted. That badass mentality. But you would have gone nowhere with that anywhere else. It was me. So I'm here to be honest with you. I'm here to lay it out all on the table. It's all because of me that this whole thing happens, that somebody gets over and becomes a star. It's all because I want something from them.
Okay, well, let's talk about a couple cats. I'm just talking to Cesaro backstage.
Oh, Jesus
A
Christ.
lot of physical skills, Vince. Strong dude, great in-ring work. Yeah, what's the one piece where he's not connecting?
He's foreign. He's a fucking foreigner. No American is going to connect with a foreigner. I mean, that's just ludicrous. I mean, the fact that you're even bringing up this ass clown Cesaro is bullshit, in my opinion. No, not in my opinion. In fact. It's bullshit. Cesaro can't get the brass ring because he wasn't born here in the good old United States of America.
I know,
So
but
fuck you for answering that question.
Vince, I
For
mean,
asking that question.
with all due respect, Vince, I started to like the cat. You know, and they split him up from Swagger. Zeb Coulter went out on his own, was kind of doing some damn impressive things in the ring.
That was a Triple H thing. That was a Triple H thing, putting a Swiss man as an all-American American. You know, saying that he's a real American. That is bullshit. I tore them apart because of that bullshit, not because of Cesaro's ability. Because he is not a real American. Hulk Hogan is a real American. Jack Swagger is a real American. Fucking a Repo Man is a real American. Antonio Cesaro will never, I guarantee that, there's that word again, I guarantee you he will never be a real American.
You mentioned respect, Vince. I'm not going to let down on this. I started to respect his ability. Then they put him with Paul Heyman, who I love. But I said, you know, he's a heel manager. Then all of a sudden you're saying, hey, wait a second. I have to hate this guy because he's guilty by association with Heyman. And then go back by himself. And so we kind of got lost in the shuffle and lost a little bit of direction. But before he went with him, and I just started liking the guy because I started respecting him. And then he kind of lost his momentum just from a booking standpoint. Well, what can you do, Vince McMahon, to further his cause?
I don't want to further his cause. I don't give a shit about him. I don't understand how I haven't been clear before that Antonio Cesaro will not get over, not because of anything that he did, it's because I don't want him to. You know, Paul Heyman, that fat bitch, he asked to manage Cesaro, and I said, whatever, I don't care what you do. Heyman's Heyman, he does his own fucking thing. But the moment I saw that Cesaro was, getting reaction from the fans, I said, whoa, 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 whoa. You gotta take him away from that. Because we can't get him over. We can't let the fans get excited from this guy because he's never going to get over. Because he's not an American. And I can't push a true wrestler, a true entertainer, a true American. I mean, I can only push a true American and a real entertainer to get that brass ring, but a fake foreigner, a fraud like Antonio Cesaro, he can't even speak English. How the fuck's he going to cut a promo? And maybe he could speak English like, Schwarzenegger or something like that. I could give him a chance, but he doesn't speak English. How is he supposed to get on his ability in the ring? Come on, nobody fucking buys that. Jesus, I went through my darkest periods with Bret Hart on top. He was a wrestler. He couldn't speak worth shit, and he was Canadian. He might as well be American. So there's nothing I can do to further Antonio Cesaro's cause. His problem is he was born out of this country. It's his own damn fault.
Let's move off Cesaro a little bit. I can tell it's a subject that makes you damn uncomfortable, Vince, but let's talk a little bit about something else. Part of your product. I was backstage, kind of milling around. See a lot
Don't
of
you
guys.
have a life? What are you doing backstage in my show?
I was milling around. See a lot of the guys walking around. They got pieces of paper. You got a big writing staff here for a live television taping. Back in the day, back in the old damn days, used to sit by your swimming pool with Pat Patterson, book the territory. It was a two-man process. Every now and then Jim Ross would come by, Bruce Pritchard, or whoever the hell. But basically it was a couple-man show. It didn't get so damn complicated. How did the world of sports entertainment get that much harder than when I left, Vince? Because when I was here, there was a handful of damn writers, couple, and you were overseeing them. You kept, those guys in check. They're cranking out some good stuff. But how did this process get so complicated?
It didn't. It actually got less complicated because I'm not doing the work. That's the beauty of it. I have a system now, a tier system. And the thing is, what I realized what we were doing, what the problem was, is that, we're not an improv show. We don't want to have, these little bullet points for you to have to go out there and say your bit and get there because, The thing is, improv shows, I don't know if you watch TV or not, but improv shows never do well on prime time. You know, you got a whose line is it anyway, and it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't draw. But see, the scripted shows, you know, like I said, like the Seinfelds or the ERs or you know, the whatever the hell you watch, I don't give a shit. But those are the shows that really draw people in. And I realized, I said, well, maybe we should bring in a writing staff, come in and write us like we're a sitcom, like we're a drama. And so that's what we do, and I think it's a better product for it. A slicker, easier product to follow. None of that improvised bullshit where guys take their characters in their own hands.
Well, let's just take a step back, though, to the whole booking sessions by the pool. Now,
Yeah.
one of the funniest stories that ever happened on one of them illustrious booking sessions was, of course,
Well,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, you know that time where I made Patterson pull his pants down and jump in the pool half naked. You know, and then I started throwing rocks at his head. Some rocks by the pool, and I just started throwing them at him, and then I had him get out, and I tied him up so he couldn't move his hands and his legs, and then I pushed him back in and face first, and he was he's drinking in the water, and I started throwing more rocks at him. It was sometimes you have to have fun making fun.
Now, I know, Vince, which leads me to my story. One of these illustrious booking sessions at your swimming pool. You were the guy walking by the swimming pool. Your son Shane pushed you into the pool, and as he tells the damn story, you're suspended above water for almost 5 seconds. It seemed to have some hang time. A lot of four-letter words boiled out of your mouth. You turn red, and then you sink into the damn drink, Vince.
I think I don't recall that as being a funny story. In fact, if I may say so, that's one of the reasons why he is estranged from me. That's why I don't have Shane McMahon as my son anymore. I legally disowned him, and this was the beginning of that whole process.
I got to ask, Vince, what happened to Shane? Where is he at?
He's where he belongs. I'll just put it that way.
But why did he decide to get out of WWE?
Well, he didn't. No. He wanted to inherit the business for sure. He wanted to be Stephanie's right-hand man. But I'll tell you right now, my real son is Stephanie's right-hand man, Triple H. He's the son I should have had, and the son that I have now.
Well, yeah, that's dark. Jesus Christ, Vince. Did you want your kids, Shane and Stephanie, to get into the business? Because your father, as has been well damn documented in some trash, he didn't want you to get into the damn business, Vince.
You see, I'm not a greedy, selfish man. My dad was. He was a greedy, selfish son of a bitch. He didn't want me to get into this business, not because it was difficult or would be a hard life to live. He didn't want me to get into the business because he wanted to keep all the riches for himself. You see, I want my family to have it, not Shane. Shane's not my family anymore. As I said, legally disowned. He lives wherever the hell he lives, Japan or something like that. He stays there. I have a legal binding agreement never to see him ever again. No holidays. His children, they're not my grandchildren. They don't exist. The only son that I have is Triple H. And he married his sister, Stephanie McMahon. So yes, I want my kids to have the family business, to share in the riches and the blessings that I have given myself.
No, that notwithstanding, I mean, you got into the business. Your dad, right, he's running the territory. His announcer wanted a raise.
Yeah.
Your dad refused to give him the raise. They were fixing to go on the air, and they didn't have a damn announcer, right, Vince?
Yes. It's amazing the decisions that can be made when you have someone with a gun in their back. Now, that announcer, I threatened him. I threatened his family. I said, if you don't ask for a raise, a complete ludicrous raise, I will come to your house and I will beat every one of you and your family senseless until you have no business even being an announcer. So he took the easy way, not the hard way.
I want to ask, next I want to ask you a yes or no question, all right? Do you want to talk about CM Punk?
Who?
CM Punk.
I don't know who that is.
I'll ask you this then. Let's cut to the chase on the damn subject. Would you be open to working with Punk in the future, Vince? Did you listen to the interview we did with Colt Cabana? Good show for any sports entertainment fans out there.
I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know who this Punk is.
Well, back in the day, I don't want to put myself in Punk's shoes because he's in a tough situation, specifically. But back in the day, I was in a similar position, Vince.
Yeah.
Not the same damn circumstances, but I was working my ass off. I was a little bit burned out. Didn't like some of the creative, but we were rocking and rolling pretty good. And I was wrestling Ric Flair in a cage in Columbus, Georgia. And Jim Ross gave me creative for Monday Night Raw, and that's when I was going to do the favors for Brock Lesnar in the King of the Ring qualifier match. No build-up, no nothing. I mean, here's a guy, as soon as Brock Lesnar walked into the WWE, he said, hey man, this guy's a player. He had that look, he had that it, and he's a good friend of mine. But all of a sudden I get the 411 that I was supposed to do favors that night, and quite frankly, me to you, guys like me, pretty hard to find. You know that, right?
Well, in my opinion, you have to do what's right for the business that made you. You know, I remember I had a phone call with you about this. You know, I remember correctly that you were supposed to lose to Brock Lesnar over a series of house shows, and I think we were going to bring in Hogan to drop the leg on you a couple times. Now, see, you got a little bit of that Bret Hart thing going on there where you weren't willing to do what's right for the business that made you. Steve Austin didn't make Steve Austin. Vince McMahon made Steve Austin. You understand that? Right next to every single wrestler's name, there should be an asterisk. And that asterisk is Vince McMahon owns me. You understand that? So you were wrong for not wanting a job to Brock Lesnar. You were wrong for refusing the job to Brock Lesnar. It's your fault.
Well, on that front, Vince, straight up, how hard was I to work with?
I mean, you know, in the beginning you were fine. You know, you did what you were told. We were able to kind of figure out some stuff. I think you were okay for the most part. I mean, this Brock Lesnar bullshit, you know, you had your moments. You know, I put up with a lot of stuff that you did. I was okay with you beating your wife. That was fine. You know, we have some moments like that. We've all been there. We've all been there. Trust me. But overall, I think you were a pleasure, Steve.
Well, thanks, Vince. You know, one of the things that's always told back to me is, you know, one of the frustrations in dealing with me is that I wasn't necessarily always able to express what I wanted. You know, Triple H, he tells the whole story. You know, comes in and says, Steve, you're saying no, I'm not doing that. Well, you know, do you have an answer? Or do you get a substitute proposition? You know, so and I never had one. I was kind of a horse's ass, you know, being real honest right here about that.
Well, we don't expect you to have, when we hire you, we don't expect you to have brains or knowledge or anything like that. We expect you to be, you know, cattle that we can push along and move along. So, you know, Triple H has a different mentality for the business, and you know, when I am dead, and if I am still in agreement that Triple H and Stephanie should run the company, and I don't destroy it with my bare hands, then they can run the business their own way. But you know, I don't need you to make a suggestion, because if you don't bring one in, I'm gonna make a suggestion for you anyway.
But I couldn't figure out, you know, one of the reasons. Well, not one of the reasons, but we were talking about guys in similar situations. The Punk deal, myself.
Yeah.
I was a bit burned out, running hard, but I worked my ass off. You know that.
Yeah.
I got that piece of booking now. I was like, hey man, that's going to be the creative. I ain't going to be there. till he calls you when he says, hey, man, what are we going to do when you get done working with Flair in that cage? When you're done working with Flair in that cage, call Vince. So I called you about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
You broke down the storyline for me. These days when I call you, you don't answer. Back then, first call, Vince is on the line. So I didn't show up. I kind of showed, and it was the worst decision I've ever made in my life. And I've admitted the worst professional decision I've ever made in my life. And I felt up to that, and I'll tell you what, I watched last night on DVD, Austin versus McMahon. Nobody's ever seen it. You can check it out on the WWE Network. It's badass, as we put it together, and it made me remember a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, we drew pretty well together. You know, we did it. We had our own little, we all had our own little bit of Andre and Hogan going on there. But, regarding the phone calls, no, I don't answer calls from guys who aren't my employees, who don't work for me on a regular day-to-day basis. Because if you don't work for me on a day-to-day basis, you don't really matter to me. You know, I'm doing this now as a courtesy for you. I'm doing this show to boost up ratings for your podcast. I don't give a shit about you anymore. Get that straight. I haven't given a shit about you since WrestleMania 19. All right? You don't matter to me. But, in regards to when we did work together and how much fun it was, yes, it was a damn good time. I mean, I have to admit I was probably the greatest athlete you ever worked with.
Oh, man, your damn athleticism was off the charts. But, when I look back, I was gone from the company for about 8 months, and when I walked off, you called me 3 times and left me voice messages on my phone.
Yes,
but
I was drunk. I was drunk dialing. It was not intentional.
That aside, as hard-headed as I am, and I got this from my mother, once you piss me off, you know I'm bad. And so I never return your phone calls. And finally, I get a card in the mail from Jim Ross. And he says, hey, man, if you ever want to talk, just give me a call. I'm here. And I said, man, it's just a little paper card. It meant so much to me. I called his ass.
That's just the problem with you, is that you value little tidbits of shit like that. That's fucking bullshit. A piece of paper. I could shove a piece of paper up your ass.
Well, nonetheless, I called JR's ass on the phone. His ass on the phone. Talked to him for 2 or 3 hours. And finally he said, hey, if I put you and Vince in the same room
for 2 or 3 hours about what? Jesus Christ, if anyone could talk for 2 or 3 hours about entertainment or wrestling, they're bullshit.
Well, we did. In fairness, we talked a little bit about the ranch, talked about clearing brush, talked about hunting damn bucks, talked about shooting a damn buck on my damn 80 by 80 square foot goddamn fucking ranch. That's what we talked about, Vince, on the fucking ranch. All right, and I'm not talking about a salad dressing, son. I'm talking to my damn ranch in Texas. What? Nonetheless, we talked for 2 or 3 hours. Finally, he said, hey, if I put you and Vince in the same room together, you think you guys can get back on track? I said, yeah, I'd love to do that. So anyway, you and I met High-Rise Hotel, Houston, Texas. Man, it was about the 30th floor, and I was the first one in the room. And then when I walked in, I was thinking, man, this is a hit. I mean, something's going down because I'm the only guy in here. I was the only guy in the room, and so here we go. And it was very uncomfortable. It was very awkward. And we got everything settled, and I came back to work, and I credit that to Jim Ross. Jim Ross was an important part of my career, as he has been for the entire WWE. So my question is there a guy like that, like Jim Ross, that can bridge the gap between you and CM Punk?
No. No, there isn't, because I don't hire fat pieces of shit like Jim Ross anymore. And I emphasize fat.
When I left the company...
That's why Gorilla... You know what? If you remember this, back in WrestleMania 15,
yeah,
Gorilla was really, really skinny. Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah.
That's because I said, if he didn't lose weight, I'm not hiring any more fat people for behind-the-scenes shit. You lose weight, fucking Monsoon, stop eating the hot dogs. So I had brought in Jesse. That's why I brought in Jesse Ventura. He went in there to help Monsoon get on a diet. And then he died. Deservedly so.
When I left the company, I was gone for 8 months, didn't get a paycheck for 8 months. That hurt. But that was my own mistake. On top of that, after you and I...
And why do you keep bringing it up like it was my mistake? I make no mistakes. They're all your fault.
Well, I keep saying it's my own damn mistake, Vince. I didn't want to say anything was your damn mistake. I'm here stroking your ego when I could whip your damn ass if I wanted to in 3 fucking seconds.
You couldn't whip the ass off of a feather.
On top of that, after you and I had a come to Jesus meeting, we're cool. We're back in business together. You say, well, Steve, it's only right I should fine you. And I said, well, it's all right. How much are you going to fine me? And you said, do you remember this? Do you remember this? You said $650,000. And I said, hot dang. I said, 650, geez, is a lot of money, right? And you said, Steve, I feel like I've got to slap your wrist. I said, slap your wrist? You're chopping my damn hand off. And he said, well, what do you think it should be? And boy, this is my job skills as a negotiator. I said, how about 250? You thought about it for a second. Well, okay then, Steve, 250 grand. So you find me 250 grand. I never told that story out in public, but you find me 250 G's. You wanted to find me 650 G's. And I said 125, but you said, hey, Vince, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I didn't have people like John Laurinaitis in my fucking ear, I would have charged you $2 million per day that you were gone. So there. So you got off easy, you bald-headed fucker.
It's a penalty. And I wanted to share that story because all the guys, when I talked to you, when I came back, and I was gone for a long time, and I talked to a lot of the top guys, I said, hey, man, I was swelled up, tight, bad decision. I was running pretty hard, pretty fast back in the day, and, I let you guys down. And a lot of the guys, you have to put yourself in the shoes of someone to appreciate a situation sometimes. So that's where I was at. But I wanted to make sure the boys know that I did actually pay a damn price other than take, an 8-month vacation. 0 paychecks, making pretty good money back in the day, Vince, but you find my ass too.
Oh, that's because you deserve it. I am not above giving people what they deserve. I am, I can understand these, this idea that you, making your job, suggesting, telling you that you have the job to Brock Lesnar. I can understand that you probably felt that, maybe the whole company was suddenly turning its back on you. Yeah, and I can understand that. I'm constantly at a feeling that, not only the company, my entire family is always turning their back on me. And I know you, Steve, you're a loner. I can be a loner too.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Vince. Well, if I could say here on the network the word that goes with BS, I mean, you introverted and shy, I ain't seen it, Vince. I ain't seen it.
Well, you've never been away. You've never been in my house when Linda goes away. That's all I have to say about that.
One of the guys that I was making my rounds and apologized to when I came back was Undertaker. He'd been around a long damn time. He was a stand-up guy. Then in the locker room, he had a hellacious run, and I remember being down in New Orleans there at number 30. I was watching the match in the truck with Kevin Dunn, a beer in each fucking hand. And this was a match I had to watch. 2 badass competitors in the ring, Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, shoot fight. And I had to see the finish. All of a sudden, man, I'm watching that referee hits the 3 count after the third F5, whatever it's called, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like the guy in the damn front row. His eyes got that big. I was that guy in the truck. I said, holy smokes, what just happened? How, when, and why, Vince, was the decision made to end the streak?
Well, it was me. You see, the Undertaker has, Undertaker would pride himself on coming back every year, and working basically 1 match a year and having it be at WrestleMania, the biggest showcase of them all, the granddaddy of everybody. And I said, all right, you want to work 1 night a year? Fine. You're going to lose. That streak that you hold on to, that you keep coming back for, it's over. You want to play with me? You think you can tell me what to do in my own house? You went around in 2000 calling my ring your yard. That's not your yard. That's my house. And I'm going to tell you, in my house, fuck you. You're losing tonight in my house.
Okay, so So what you're saying is you made the decision. I mean, the guy's been around a long time, and what the feeling, I guess, the prevailing sentiment was that he's finally going to give back.
No. The feeling is I'm finally going to take back. The streak is mine. I decided it, and I wanted it back.
Well, giving him that finish, Vince. I mean, I know Mark that had to come as a shocker to him.
If it was, that's his problem, not mine.
Okay, well, you've got Brock Lesnar, badass dude, big cat for tremendously physical, a great success here. Tries to play a little pro football, goes to UFC, has success there, goes back to
Yeah.
WWE, success as a world champion. He's not around though. Where is he? Can we have him on television more than we have him on?
I have him on television as much as I want him to be on. See, the thing is, I don't like Brock Lesnar that much. I think Brock Lesnar is a useless, bloated buffoon. You know, I give him these moments not necessarily as to relish in his accomplishments as much as to embarrass the rest of the locker room. The idea is that if this asshole can beat the streak, if this asshole can win the title by completely destroying the top guy in the business and then go away, then how the fuck do you guys matter who work here day in and day out? Why aren't you doing your job better? That's why we don't have him on television, because he's a big, bloated buffoon joke of a man.
All right, are we ever going to see Macho Man Randy Savage in the Hall of Fame, Vince?
Not as long as there's blood running through my veins.
Not in the near future. What, 10 years from now? What?
Maybe you didn't hear me. Not as long as there is blood running through these veins.
Well, I guess that's that. Let's talk about Sting. All right, talk about staying for a while. He's been so long down there at WCW. We went to battle with those guys back in the Monday Night Wars. Talk about his role in the WWE. What's Sting's role going to be, Vince?
Well, I'm bringing him in here to finally put the final nail in the coffin of WCW. There's no other reason to have Sting here. He's an old bitch, right? He's got nothing. He's got zero value except for a name. His stupid name, Sting. He ripped it off the pop artist. My only reason to bring Sting into my company is to have him job hard to Triple H come WrestleMania. And I mean hard. I'm going to remind everybody why WCW is dead and buried.
You know, you keep saying these guys, you can't see them too much. They can't be around too much, like a Brock Lesnar. You know, and that helps them, man. I was out there forever, week after week, forever and ever. So is it because of contracts, really, when it comes down to it, that we don't see a guy like Sting, a guy like Brock Lesnar every week? Is it because of something else? I can't tell. I mean,
It's because Sting reminds me of Turner and Lesnar is a bloated buffoon. That's why you don't see them week to week. I've got enough money to pay these sons of bitches whatever the hell they want. I don't care. I don't care what they demand. They could ask, Vince, I want $1 billion. Go ahead. I've got that kind of fucking money in my wallet. I don't want them around because they remind me of shit that I don't like.
all right, let's talk about the Monday Night Wars for a while. Man, you know, there's a lot of my career that I forgot. Been hitting the head with a deal, the damn chairs, been drinking beer, driving down the road, taking flat back bumps. I had the best time in the world, but when we go do the Monday Night Wars, man, it was everything but the kitchen sink. It was hardcore competition every single week. You had two who would always tell me the story. You know, they would tell me the story that on occasion of that time, you always hear the story. You get on the phone call. You get the phone call from Ted Damn Turner. He says, Vince, you know, I'm in the wrestling business. And your answer was what?
Well, that's good for you, Ted. I'm in the entertainment business. I make movies. I don't do fake sports. So have fun with your garbage TV. I'm going to make art.
So anyways, we go to battle. Bischoff starts running that show over there. Can we go head to
Yeah.
head? And it's hot and heavy. Finally, after about 2 years, we win, but ultimately, you put Ted Turner out of business. Was it our mission to put them guys out of business or just win the Monday Night Wars?
Steve, what you don't know about the Monday Night Wars could stop a herd of cattle dead in its tracks during a stampede.
Vince, I can't just leave that unaddressed. What could you possibly be talking about there, Vince? I mean, that's one of the most damn well chronicled stories and narratives in the history of the business. How do we not know every last damn thing about the Monday Night Wars?
Because that's my little secret.
I just can't, in good conscience, let you off the hook like that, Vince. I mean, give us something. What the hell are you talking about?
Let me just put it this way. I knew Turner was going to go out of business way before Monday Nitro even began.
Well, but at the end of the day, we were trying to put them out of
Yes.
business. We did, and you bought the company for whatever it was on the dollar.
It was
That-
$1.
that- Now, did you shoot yourself in the foot by doing that? Because now you don't have anybody to compete with, nobody to compete against. No disrespect to TNA. We're talking about real deal, straight up.
Well, see, no, I don't think I shot myself in the foot because finally, after years of trying to win out, I could tell the stories that I wanted to tell. I could tell stories like the saga of Katie Vick. I could tell stories of the rise and fall of Kurt Angle. I could finally let my heart out when it came to the stories that I told in the squared circle.
When you bought the business from your father, did you have a vision, a global vision of global domination, Vince?
Well, I mean, more like global rulership, not domination.
Well, global vision of domination. I mean, so you went out to everybody, 2 territories, which was something nobody did back then. I mean, every now and then, but somebody usually, put a firm foot down and stop that. But you were able to do that. You're putting every damn territory out of business at the time.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't say that. I mean, in a reality, they put themselves out of business.
How's that?
Well, you see, they didn't have to sell their wrestlers to me the way that they did. They could have easily said, hey, I'll match his offer. Vince McMahon's offering you $10 million. I'll give you 15. They chose not to. They thought they were taking the higher ground. In reality, you're all just stock on the market, being traded back and forth, being bought, being sold to whoever has the most money. That's how I got everybody. Except for Vern Gagne, that son of a bitch.
You mean Vern Gagne?
I don't know who the fuck you're talking about, but I'm talking about Vern Gagne, who ran the AWA.
All right.
All right? This guy, he just fucking blew me off. So you know what I did? Took me about 15 years or so, but then ultimately, I saw to his death.
But without any competition, I mean, how do you compete with yourself just to make the end product better? Can you build all these stars down there in Florida, FCW, NXT?
I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm not about making a good product. I'm about making a product that I want. I can honestly say that I go and I watch a tape of Raw every single night, and I love it. I love it.
What you're talking about, Bill Watts. All right, you referred to him being a pretty cagey guy when we talked earlier. One of the great minds in the business, in my opinion, is Jim Ross, who came from the Bill Watts tree, spent his whole life in the business, and is no longer with the WWE. Is there heat between you guys, you and Jim?
Well, I'll tell you right now. I mean, you got two great examples. Bill Watts is a fat bitch. Jim Ross is a fat tubby bitch. So I will never, ever, ever work with either of those two fuckers ever again. The next time I work with them, we'll be working on their funeral.
We talk on the phone all the time, and we break down the product in the ring, Jim and I, and what you guys are doing. And we book the territory. And, Jim's got some ideas,
Oh,
Vince.
oh, does he? Well, that's wonderful to hear. Please, enlighten me with some of his great ideas.
Well, he's got a lot of good ideas. That's my point. Jim is one of the brightest guys in the business. Have you ever heard whether it's a guy who is going to be a devil's advocate, sort of bounce something off just basic logic, common sense when it comes to the business of sports entertainment? There's been great Finnish guys. Eddie Graham down there in Florida. Pat Patterson is phenomenal, just all around knowledge of the business. You can't really get anyone with more depth of knowledge than yourself or Jim Ross. I don't know that human being is walking the planet.
Don't give Pat Patterson that much credit. Pat Patterson's ideas all come from me. The bottom line is I am the greatest mind. I am the only mind that this entertainment business needs. I always have been, and I always will be. Eddie Graham is dead. Jim Ross will be dead soon. These aren't people that I would trust with holding any knowledge, because obviously they couldn't handle the heat in my fucking kitchen.
Okay, I'll get his word on that, but I want to talk to you about you and me in the ring together, and we were magic, Vince. We were made for each other. You said basically that the Stone Cold character at one point was the Vince McMahon character, and I've said this before. As much as I loved working with The Rock, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, some of the best guys in the business, no one has ever reflected back at me what you did as an opponent. He'll babyface whatever I was. I got no one greater than you that did what in the hell was it in your opinion? What in the hell was it in your opinion? Why the chemistry was what it was? Because it was always, people always say, oh yeah, he got to kick the hell out of his boss, and everybody wants to beat up the boss. But it's a little more than that. You could put anybody in my shoes to do the things that I did, and put anybody in your shoes, but they wouldn't have had that magic. Why are we so similar? Why did we work so well together? Because you've had great feuds with everybody else too, but you and me, it's a whole different story.
Well, you see, the thing is, you got half that right. You could put anybody in your shoes, but you couldn't put anybody in my shoes. Because I am Vince McMahon. You're not really Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're Steve Williams, Steve Henderson, some guy that we just, we made you into this badass character. You're the monkey that we could have replaced. I'm the diamond in the rough. I am the WWE. I am the draw. I mean, it's safe to say that I am Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Just so you know, Vince, you got 1 minute left here as far as the timetable on the network.
That's not true. I've got as much time as I want. This is my network.
Well, I want to, I want to stay a little bit longer after we go off the air, because I want to get some answers for my podcast, because you and me were money together, and it was about love and hate, and it's one thing to just go out and do something. It's like someone playing a song. You could hear that song, but if you're hearing the song, it's one thing. But if you feel that song, it's a whole different ball game. They're wrapping us up, Vince, in 20 seconds. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, sure. I mean, you can. I guess I don't really understand what the hell you're asking.
All right. It looks like, can we get the high sign, Vince, to keep going here? Maybe 15 more minutes?
You can do it. Go ahead. We're all being honest here. We're just letting our balls hang out. That's fine with me.
Well, fine. That's all well and good. We're here on the WWE Network with the damn Stone Cold Steve Austin show up in this bitch on a 20 by 20 foot ranch in my goddamn bathroom. So let me tell you something else, Vince. I have to say, of all the opponents I've had, you're the most uncoordinated bastard I ever threw around in the damn ring. I'm running into that cage at the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I mean, it was brutal, because you're supposed to, kind of, come off that, give a guy a heads up, before you go flying off the end of that damn cage. But before you know it, you're going full force discombobulation. No coordination in that damn table. You personified discombobulation. I mean, I remember that first time I rang your ass up with the stunner. Where was that? Madison Square Garden, right?
Yeah, I remember that too. You see, that's the thing. I'm not going to sell for you. I'm not going to make it easy. If you're gonna give me a move, if I'm going to let you throw me into the cage, it ain't going to be easy on you. I'll tell you that right now.
Well,
I ain't gonna sell.
I'll tell you on the coordination front. I mean, one of the things is I was wearing those damn jeans that were too damn tight. Sometimes I couldn't take my leg up high enough, so I kicked in the balls damn near every single time. Damn near broke my neck. I gave you the stun. It was like an ongoing rib, but I still got up. I mean, I wasn't shooting. I was trying to kick you in the gut, but I couldn't pick my leg up high enough, Vince.
you know, you know, and I don't mind you. You know, I appreciate that. You know, I understand that can happen. You know, when you should probably have realized you put on a few pounds and gotten some bigger pants. But you know, the thing is that the differences between you and me is that I wouldn't have been afraid to shoot on you. You understand that? I would have gladly shot on you. I would have taken a spear if I had to and stabbed you through the heart on live TV. You know, you weren't trying to shoot on me, but I would have shot on you. Just remember that next time you get in the ring. You never know when someone's going to shoot on you. You know, but you know, that's what I wanted. I wanted people to, you know, in my own way, you know, to shooting on guys, and it was my way of doing a rib. You know, I was doing a practical joke on you. You know, I just, you know, one of the things that I wanted to do because of my, you know, my bastard father. I just wanted my boys to accept me. You know what I mean? The boys in the back. I wanted to be one of you.
Well, I can see why. I mean, you know, you get that high. I mean, you're high out there. I mean, I tell people all the time, once you get in that ring, whether there's a crowd of 50 or 60.
No. What I really wanted to do was, I wanted you to accept me so I could stab you in the heart if I needed to, so that if I turned on you in the ring or in real life, it would hurt that much more, just like my father did to me.
Well, that's ass backwards, Vince. But like I was trying to say, you know, whether it's a crowd of 50 or 60, 80,000 like a WrestleMania, once you rock that house and you get that feeling in your damn blood, I mean, it's damn near like something that you shoot in your veins. It's just that addictive.
Yes,
That's what
I know. I like
that's-
to, you know, I've done my fair share of shooting things into my veins.
Well, that's
But
what.
I've got a, if you will, Hulk Hogan and I are going to be shooting up quite a bit tonight. You know, we might as well say we have a date at the gun range.
All right, Vince. I mean, we'll just leave well enough alone there. But, you know, that's what it was when you and I stepped in the ring, and it was from Jump
Yes.
Street, from the start to the finish. Now, you always wanted to be a pro wrestler. You always wanted to be a sports entertainer, correct? And that's going back 60 years before that term was invented.
Now, that term was never invented. It was always there. There's a difference between wrestling and entertainment. And I wish that you would get it through your thick fucking head that they're not the same genre. Two different categories. One is fake, the other is real entertainment. Understand there is something different. But to answer your greater part of the question, yes, I always wanted to get inside the squared circle.
But your father
There's always
wouldn't
a-
let you in the business.
No.
Okay, and then you got the announce job, which I loved you announcing. Sometimes you were over the top. You always knew where you were going because you owned the company. On the down low, you kept that under wraps all the time, but you always, I loved your note and the way you were saying things, and sometimes you'd go off the rails a little bit of hooking us with all due respect. God dang, I love you, but we're sitting here talking to each other. But when you finally get into the ring with me, Stone Cold Steve Austin, was that what I mean? Because you're in front of a crowd. You always wanted to be a superstar. Now you are. How was it? I mean, talk about your mindset going into the ring, because all the years you spent in the business, seeing the best ever, working with your dad, a great damn promoter, a guy you looked up to, and you know what came on later in your life that you actually could get in the ring. What?
I'll just say this. I realized at the moment that I stepped in the ring to be a wrestler for the first time, I realized that I was the main draw. All these years, people were coming to see me. Maybe not necessarily in the ring, but I'm the one who put Hogan and T together. I'm the one who created Hogan and Andre. I'm the one who came up with Slaughter and Hogan. These are all my ideas. So in reality, I've been the biggest consistent draw that the WWE has ever seen. So it felt natural. It felt real. It felt like, oh yes, this is what it should be.
Man, when I walked down to the ring and, you guys started getting me over as Stone Cold and I came in as the ringmaster, I came to your house twice to meet with you, and I knew in your head you don't know what the hell to do with me. I could be a mechanic in that damn ring for you, and that was it. You came up, and one time you called me,
I
and
didn't really care.
that aside, you came up one time, you called me, and you mentioned the ringmaster idea. Sounded like $1,000,000 because I was working one night a week with Paul Lee, and it really helped me out. Thank you, Paul. But anyway, so I knew I never had any. You didn't see a superstar in me. And going back to the locker room and challenging this damn locker room to step up and go out and be creative and push the envelope, because you need superstars. You need guys that are over. But back to you and me. Finally, when it comes to Stone Cold thing, and it started with the wrapping up, really, really getting over and getting the response that I was getting. And man, I always let her work with you, but I had a massive success as a baby. And we did the double turn, WrestleMania 13. But
You
what
had
was it?
massive success as a child.
A baby face, Vince. That's what I meant, and you damn well know it. And with your beady little eyes. And yeah, I hope you check out my new feature film, The Condemned. All right. That aside, what was it like for you finally? Because you had tremendous heat, and the kind of response you generated from that crowd was that like for you? Because it was almost, it's a thrill. Let's put it that way. I know we got a PG audience right now, but it's a thrill.
You can't say that word. You can't say that word on TV. You can't say thrill. Like I said, it felt like the natural progression of who I was and who I am. Because in a way it was like the culmination of the biggest storyline of all time. When is Vince McMahon going to get in the ring? When is Vince McMahon going to show his stuff? So then finally getting in the ring with you, having a 2-year feud with you, it was the biggest payoff of all time. Because I had finally reached, or I had finally become, the man who I wanted to be.
It's like a deal. You always get a kick out of your response, your pop. We're going to heal a baby. And also you're living vicariously through that other guy you're working against, and you're gauging it in their pop, and you're like, okay, man, it wasn't as good as it was on either part. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. It wasn't what I envisioned. But when you both get that double monster pop, it's like, man, we're off to the races. You and me, we're in Memphis, Tennessee at the Pyramid. It was a good dang. What was the name of the pay-per-view? Goddamn, you took the bump off the cage. St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And, you got the big idea. Hey, I want to take that bump off the cage and land on that damn table. And you hit your head, went down. You hit that damn desk. And did you hurt your neck? Did you get knocked out? Where you want to shoot?
Well, first of all, I think you put way too much goddamn thought into this whole thing. Just go out there, fucking, wrestle a fake match and get the hell out of there. You're talking about pops and these visions. Like, I don't give a shit. Stop thinking so deep into this garbage. It's not real. It's not real at all. It's all bullshit. Did I hurt myself? No, I never get hurt. Because you know what I do? Before any time I get in the ring when I know I'm going to take a bump, I sit in my locker room, in my office, and I snort about a pound of cocaine so that I can't feel a goddamn thing when I'm in that ring. And yeah, I've said it once, I've said it a million times. I can snort as much of that stuff as you can put in front of me, and I'll still never get hooked.
No, goddamn, Vince, it's so fucking disturbing. But that aside, we're at WrestleMania 13. What were you thinking with a no-color policy? I get juice that night, Vince. I get color. What are you thinking that night, WrestleMania 13, with a no-color policy? And all of a sudden, you got guys out there. You got the stockholders meeting. It's better. You're ordering no blood, because in your commentary you say, "Oh, it's unfortunate things like this don't happen very often." What are you thinking when I'm bleeding?
I'm thinking, he better have a damn good match, or I'm gonna have to go in the back and fucking kill him. He'll have a lot of color when I'm done. Knife wounds. Lots of knife wounds. And color all over his body. Like Bruiser fucking Brody.
So I got 4 minutes. All right, I got 4 minutes to wrap this up. Let's go back to the WWE superstars. I want to go back to the WWE universe. Are you listening? Are you tuned in? Are you really giving them what they want? I mean, how can they let you know, Vince? I mean, there's no competition. They're not throwing everything but the kitchen sink at them every single Monday night like they were back in the day. God dang, and the people who won with the people at home every Monday night. I mean, because they're getting some badass stuff for sure. Those are the people who won. But so what's the future for the WWE, Vince?
What's the future? The future is me. You know, it's like what Bret Hart always used to say. You know, he's the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be. I am what was. I am what is. And I am what always will be.
How does the action transition more to, back and forth rather than a straight up formula, kind of like a baby face shine, get some heat, couple hold spots, come back, and then the finish. Now it's more segmented. Is that because the world, Vince, has turned into short attention span theater? Because that's what it seems to me when I watch these matches.
And boy, I don't understand this train of thought. Like you act like we put that much thought into this shit. We literally say, here, you two guys are gonna fight this week. Go out and do your shit. I don't care.
All right, Vince, I got to cut you off. All right, it sounds like you're out of touch. I mean, if you don't think any thought should go into these damn matches, if you don't think the psychology means a damn thing, you're out of touch, Vince. I'm sorry.
Am I out of touch? I'm 69, and I've worked as much as I ever did. And I'm still making millions of dollars every single week. And you're telling me that I'm out of touch? People are still glued to my product, whether they have psychological matches or not, because they need what I have. You understand that? They need it. They need to have entertainment, and the entertainment that I provide. 5 hours each week. There's no show on television that gives you 5 hours of entertainment each week. People consume it like a drug. Am I out of touch? Shut the fuck up.
All right, Vince, go ahead. Your
Am I
network.
out of touch? I think you're out of touch. Because you can't recognize what I'm doing.
I want to ask you one final question. People can send me feedback by sending questions to steveaustonshow.com. How can a voice what they want to see? How can the fans voice what they want to see to you as far as the bell-to-bell program in the WWE? How can they get in touch with you, Vince?
Well, they can get in touch by watching the show.
No.
That's how it is. It's a rating system. They want to be in touch. That's how you do it. It's like basically when you watch Raw or SmackDown, you're saying, hi.
Now, Vince, no. I mean, I know you're not a big fan of Twitter. I know you think that's just just some kind of sounding board for critics of the product, and you just got to just stay away from that stuff to keep your sanity, if nothing else. And I'm not asking about a critic, okay? I'm not asking how a critic can get in touch with you. Just people, WWE Universe. How can they, in general, send their voice in to the WWE Universe to be heard? Is there an email or something?
Yeah, I've got email.
Well, are you comfortable giving your address out, Vince?
If I wanted feedback, sure. I don't want feedback because obviously what I'm doing is fucking working.
Okay. All right, fine. At WWE on Twitter, at Vince McMahon. Tell them what you want to see. Last question, Vince. When are you going to ride off into the sunset?
When there is no blood running through my veins. I will die in that ring on live television on Monday Night Raw. And then, depending on how I feel that day, one of two things will happen. One, I'll hand the company off to my son Triple H and my daughter Stephanie McMahon, his wife. Or, you see, what you don't know is that I have had the entire company, all of our buildings, Titan Towers, all of our files, all of our vaults, everything, rigged with explosives. And if I feel like I'm in a bad mood that day, that I'm going to die, I will push the red button that controls the trigger, and everything and everybody who's working for the WWE will blow up and die.
Well, Vince. Well, Vince, I mean, there's so many things you and I can talk about. Let's just close. I mean, I just got to tell you, it's been a blast talking to you on the Steve Austin Show.
Well, I'm glad it's been fun for you, but this has been a waste of an hour and a half for me.
Well, it's the Laps fan, man, number one in the ring. Forget about Cesaro, we the real king of swing. When the bell goes ding, you get kicked like Ming. Thrown in the corner, make it splash like Sting. Jack and JP be like JYD. Dropping cupcakes and quoting the brain Bobby. The best podcast from start to close. Now if y'all benefit, here's a 5-second pose.